to keep him away from the fortunes of the Congress, wants to set his own course. Who heads the party is inconsequential. Now, some of this, Rahul Srivastav, just seems so idealistic that you've got Kejriwal, who hardly had any stakes in Gujarat. He is giving it his all, making it seem as if AAP is coming to power, which it isn't in Gujarat at this moment. That is out of the question in terms of just the reality of electoral dynamics. But he's still fighting that fight. And Rahul Gandhi, whose party could have a chance after so many terms of opposition, of being in the opposition with anti-incumbency building up, actually thinks he's playing some bigger game.
See, Rahul, this is the problem with the Congress. Most of its campaigns, if you see, they are macro campaigns. They're macro level, large in idea, but it lacks that micro elements that actually fix elections for you or fixes your politics. So macro campaign, huge, large templates, but they lack that acute micro elements that are related to the ground. Now this focus is price rise, democratic problems and others. It definitely will be an attempt by the Congress party to present Rahul Gandhi as a serious, committed politician, which people used to say that he is not. But does it go beyond that, as we have been discussing, that you are not touching Himachal and Gujarat, you are touching on strongholds. So a tailor-made campaign for Rahul Gandhi, which could project him, is largely touching on strongholds. You are still not tackling those areas which are your weaknesses. So what is a leader who does not take on the weaknesses through a yatra which is unprecedented in Congress history?
What the Congress needs is micro booth management. You've got the BJP Sanjay working on a strategy of Panna Pramukhs in every booth. The Congress says you need a big idea, Bharat Jodo. BJP is Bharat Todo. Do you think that this rally could gain traction and could be the big idea Rahul Gandhi is waiting for, or is it just completely cut away from the reality of politics, which should have had the Congress going all out in Gujarat or at least in Himachal, where it actually has or had a chance?
Well, Rahul, I'm not as skeptical or cynical as much as Rashid and Rahul have been in terms of their early comments on the Bharat Jodo Yatra. I believe the Congress party has to play both sides of the coin. It has to create a pan-India compelling narrative where it has been conspicuously absent for a considerable time, which has allowed the BJP to actually, kind of completely have a stranglehold on whatever they want to, kind of message for the voters. So it has to create a narrative, and to that extent, Bharat Jodo is a powerful catch line. I was, talking to some Congress people. I won't tell you who they are, but they are positioning it as a second freedom struggle. We defeated the British's policy of divide and rule, and now we will possibly expose the BJP's equally similar political strategy of divide and rule in terms of our social dynamics. On the other hand, you are absolutely right. The Congress also has to do the transactional nuts and bolts politics of Gujarat and Himachal. In my opinion, and I second you on that, Gujarat is very, very critical for the Congress, because if you really, humble the lion in his own den, or rather beard the lion in his own den, I have a feeling that the Modi-Shah duo will, frankly speaking, collapse much faster. And I think that's an opportunity, because let me tell you, a lot of people feel that Gujarat has always been a cakewalk, Shah and Modi understand Gujarat and, it's like a fait accompli. I don't think so. I know many people from Gujarat and Mumbai and different parts of India who want change in Gujarat.
Can I just tell you
inability in
that
Gujarat
there is no election which is a cakewalk?
Yeah.
As the top BJP leadership of the moment says, election banane pe banta hai.
Yep.
Nothing is cast in stone. Every single voter in every booth matters, every constituency matters.
Yep.
And you've got Rahul Gandhi at this moment on an important yatra from his perspective, but a yatra which doesn't impact the political reality. Imagine for a moment if by some chance the Congress mounts a big campaign and had been able to beat the BJP in Gujarat. What kind of a narrative would that have set in terms of Rahul's ability to lead the Congress? That is real politics. This idea of Britishers, Bharat Chodo, BJP, Bharat Chodo, how do you translate this, the efficacy of that yatra? Did it succeed? Did it not succeed? I mean, the likes of
Rahul.
Meeta Chakrabarti will say it's a fantastic yatra. BJP will say it's a rubbish yatra. How do you judge it? You judge it in an election. That's the reality.
Absolutely.
And that's
Rahul,
the
just one-
piece that Rahul Gandhi doesn't seem to get. You want to make another point before I go across? Yes, Sanjay,
Yeah.
very quickly.
Yeah, Rahul, I'm making it quickly because I may have to leave in the next 10 minutes. You see, remember one thing, thanks to television, social media, you know, today the communication of what you do in, say, Trivandrum or what you do in Karnataka, it will flow through in different parts of India. I do believe for the Congress party's communication cell, Jairam, you know, the other people in the team, if they can actually try and, you know, create a nice hybrid communication model where the national story also flows into the state and the national leaders are not ignoring the absolutely critical contest in Himachal and Gujarat, I think then the Congress will be leveraging the entire Padayatra.